missing a boatload of people this morning, so I would say we'll have some people come in as we get going. And the Gregorys get the gold star. They moved up, even though I forgot to put the ropes up, so they're toward the front. All right, so we're going to pray. We have Cedric, correct? All right, I say Cedric, but it's Cedric Wong. Cedric and Candy, I got to spend some time with them last night just to get to know them a little bit. And so I've enjoyed hearing about what the Lord has called them to. So he is going to come and do a combined Sunday school for us this morning, and then maybe take some questions at the end. So if you do have questions, think about those and we can ask them as we get to the end of the growth class. All right, so let's go ahead and pray and we'll get started. Father in heaven, we're grateful that you give us the privilege of meeting together, and I pray that you'll help us this morning to be challenged, to pray for, and to be involved in ministries that are not in our area. And Lord, I pray that you would help us to be cognizant of what you have called our church to be a part of. And so we thank you for our time together. We pray that you would bless it in Jesus' name. Amen. Cedric? That would be fine if you want her to do that. Great. Mm-hmm.
All right, so you guys want to hear some Cantonese, which is a dialect in Chinese. So my wife is going to give her testimony in Cantonese and I'll translate.
係，因為我講英文咧就唔係太講得太好啦。
So because if I use English, it's not going to be so smooth.
係，所以咧我就講我嘅母語廣東話。
So I'm going to use my mother tongue Cantonese.
我嘅名咧叫做 Candy。
So my name is Candy, or Candy actually is English, okay?
咁咧我係喺香港出世啦，喺香港長大。
So I was raised and born in Hong Kong.
我嘅屋企咧，我有5個兄弟姊妹。
I have 5 siblings.
咁我爸爸媽媽咧，我自細咧，我哋屋企都冇宗教信仰嘅。
My family, we don't have any religions.
所以咧，我好細個咧，我就覺得，我咩都係信我自己，靠我自己。
So ever since I was little, I just, believe in myself. I just count on myself.
咁喺中學嘅時候咧，我就去咗一間基督教嘅學校嗰度讀書。
So by the time I'm middle school, I went to a Christian public school.
咁喺中2嘅時候咧，咁我嘅班主任咧就邀請我去參加一個叫做基督教嘅學校嘅團契。
So by the time I was 8th grade, my teacher invited me to join the school Bible study, the fellowship.
咁我開始慢慢認識咧呢個世界係點樣嚟啦。
So I learned about how this world came about.
世界上邊有一位神啦。
And there's a God in this world.
咁喺一次嘅佈道會嘅裏邊咧，佢都邀請咗我去參加。
So one time she invited me to go to an evangelical meeting.
咁就喺嗰一次嘅聚會裏邊咧，我就決志去相信主耶穌成為我嘅救主。
At that meeting, I decided I received Jesus as my personal savior.
咁亦都咧開始將我覺得我係信我自己呢件事咧轉移咗，耶穌就係我嘅主。
So I used to focus on myself, but now I turn my eyes, upon Jesus, and He became my Lord.
咁咧我就我同我先生咧就喺一個我哋兩個參加嗰間教會咧，都係一個姊妹嘅教會嚟嘅。
Yeah, both my husband's church, home church, and my church, they both were started by the same missionary, their sister church.
我喺佢嘅教會嗰度咧就做老師嘅。
So I was a kindergarten teacher at his church.
咁佢咧又喺我教會咧做一個嘅實習。
And then he came to my church to be an intern.
所以咧，我哋就咁樣咧，就慢慢開始咧，因為佢喺我哋教會做實習啦，所以我好多時候喺服侍嘅裏邊咧，我哋好多時候就會一齊啦。
And she said, "Who is that handsome guy?"
No, this is not mine. I understand English, but I speak not very well.
Oh, come on.
我話死啦 ，I forgot 我話
You saw the handsome guy at church. Yes,
No.
See, even he can understand that.
我話因為咧佢嚟咗我教會實習，所以好多時候咧我哋都會，所以慢慢就開始認識。
So since he became an intern at our church, so we got to know each other more.
咁就 就係咁樣啦，我哋就開始咗我哋咁，跟住我哋就結婚啦。
So later on we get married.
咁係咁多，唔該
Thank
晒。
you. All right. Well, my name spelled Cedric, but my parents start calling me Cedric. Okay. So I want to tell you a story. One time, an American missionary came to Hong Kong. We had a pastor breakfast meeting. So he picked up my name card, and it spelled Cedric. But he heard everybody else call me Cedric. So he came up to me. He said, "Hey, brother, so how would your wife call you, Cedric or Cedric? I want to call the way she called you." I said, "Really?" I said, "My wife doesn't call me either Cedric or Cedric. She called me my Lord. So you can do the same." So, all right, today I talked to Pastor. Today I would like to show you something about Chinese character. Any of you know how to write Chinese character? No? Good. Now, Chinese character, it's basically years when it all, very, very beginning, it's, the idea, it's called pictograph. So we draw what we see and want to communicate the idea. So it's pretty much is a drawing, okay? So, and later on, it evolves many, many years. People try to, because not everybody know how to draw, so it became, they simplify in certain, make by strokes. Okay, so let me show you my name. This is my Chinese name. So Chinese people, our last name go first. This is the family name. So Wang and Yu Guan, it's universal. The last word, it could mean two meanings. It could mean king or gentleman. So my parents say, I'm the universal, maybe gentleman, not king, okay? So anyway, we make up all the names. We don't usually repeat because it's almost like the Hebrew, they make up meanings with their name. So everybody, we have to, if you have a lot of children, it's work to just make names for your children. So, okay, so it looks complicated, but they just made up with different strokes. Once you know the basic, then it's not that hard. So let me draw you some. See, you can guess what it is. It's not cactus. Yes. Okay, this is what it used to be like, and now people make it simplify as this one. Okay, so they replace with this. And, okay, the next one, can you see at the back? Okay, I'll try and make it bigger. Okay.
Waves?
Something about that. Before waves. What made waves? Water. Yeah, that's water. Okay, nowadays this word became this. That's easier. Supposed to be. So you get the idea, okay? So it's basically, these are basic words. So, and then we put all these basic word ideas together. It's called ideograph. So you put multiple different pictures together to form a more deeper meanings picture, okay? So now, let me try something else. This is a very common word. Okay, two strokes like this. Yes, look at me like this. You see a person. Okay, and we get one more stroke, it means something else. It's like this. Oh, not Christ yet. So this, yes. We're playing a game, are we? Okay, see the concept is like a person, when you open up an arm to show something, it's like, that's big. Okay, and then there's, if I do this, yeah, that will be this one. This is small, big and small, okay? So you get the idea, so, Now, there's another one, a square. It's important, remember this, it's a square, just a square like this. This is mouth, okay? Mouth also represent a person. Like, you know, the people will ask you how many mouths at your house, you know, because each mouth need to eat something, right? So mouth represent a person. So when we sometimes, like, when we tell people like how many people in a family was like five mouths, you know, something like that. So, and then there's a close to this one, we put a cross in the middle. Now remember way back in Chinese culture, we don't grow potatoes, we grow rice. This is almost like the rice paddy because these are the one, you walk on that and then you grow in all different slots, okay? So this is a field, okay? Now, let me try to draw you a horse. This is hard. Let me see.
Trade you markers.
Okay.
That one is.
Okay. Now this is a very sort of very original one, the horse. That's how they draw it, but it takes a long time, right? So eventually they gradually change it to different things. Let me see. So this is kind of the head, and then these are the two legs at the front, you know, and these are the hair at the back. So they gradually changed to that form, and nowadays it became like this. The legs are here, the tails are back there, these are the hair at the back, okay? So they evolve the writing like this. Okay, now I'll draw you one thing, see you can guess what it is. This is the old... It's an animal. I like it. No, I like to eat it. Chicken. Well, it looks like chicken feet to me. This is gold or lamb. You see the horn, and that's the face, the goatee, something like that. So today, it evolved, became like this. Okay, remember that word because I'll come back to it. Now, and then there's a little bit complicated word. It's me, myself. So, I did some study yesterday. Actually, this word came from something like this. It was a weapon, way back, weapon. So this is the other guy, this is the weapon, that's the other guy. It's almost like telling you, either I kill him, I survive, just me. I want to be the one standing. So it's related to a weapon. So now it became this word. I don't know how in between, you know, it's very complicated. So I'm not a linguistic, okay? I go to Bible school, that's all I went to, okay? Now I want to give you something more complicated, okay? And then I want to tell you all these things because you could see there's a biblical story behind all these character making, okay? Now, if you see something, a stroke from very top of the characters, it means something from above. So this is like a covering. So something from above covering. And then this is much simplified. We saw that like water. You know, this is the water, but when you make it with others strokes and stuff, this is the water. Okay, now I'm going to draw 3 squares. Do you remember what squares mean? And also, person. Okay, so there's 3 person. Okay, and then this is work. And then 2 person, 2 men. And there's a magic word. In Genesis 1, something from above came covering the water and start the creation. This is the word spirit. 3-person. Who's that 3-person? God in 3-person. And then came down to do a magic word to create 2-person. That the whole character is spirit. That the character is spirit. Now, there's another character. Now, this is 10, number 10. If there's 10 standing on something, it's ground. Like your 10 toes standing on something, that's ground or dirt, okay? Or dirt, ground. And then there's a mouth. And then a stroke like this means something alive with life, okay? And this is like a boat, means something moved. So when God used the dirt and brought a breath of mouth, it became something living and moving. This is the word create. So when God created man, he used the dirt, a breath of air into that, it became a living creature. This is a create, the word. Now, and then, okay, we go more complicated now.
So would people in China know that word? Like you just wrote that like that?
Good question. No. When we grew up, we don't know the meaning of these. We just memorize. This picture means this. Nobody really teaches how to dissect it. Or sometimes we know when we see this, we know something, it's always related with a movement. You know, like transport or movement from somewhere to somewhere. This is, you know, we just put this in mind. And so, yeah, like when you travel, this is the word travel. You go picnic or something, that travel, it's always had that boat there. So it tells us like move. But when we go to school, we just memorize this word. So it's really hard to be a Chinese man. Every day you go home for hours to practice those characters when you're like 4 or 5. So, okay, next one is, did I answer the question? What was the question?
You did answer the question,
okay.
whether they could read it or not.
Yeah, this is wood. This is wood, like a tree, okay? It's a wood. And if you have 2 wood together, it's almost like a forest, okay? Now, and then I put something on top, like something from above, you know, top covering, same idea. And then remember this? What is that? Fill. And then a stroke like this? Alive. And then, what is this? With 2 legs. A man. Okay? And then this is private. So, this word is devil. So, he was in the forest, in the garden, in the field, having a conversation privately with a person. That's the devil, you know, the meaning. So, so many Chinese people, we don't know that. I was reading and just a book that telling us that it's almost like really, really interesting. No, when you learn foreign language, you always want to learn some bad words, right? I'm teaching you a bad word. Can you see it? This is a character on the top part. There's 2 characters. The top part is 4, okay? And the bottom part is negative. No good, no, okay? So the whole characters together is sin. So what does it mean? So in the Chinese culture, we already know sin is not only just something you do with your hands, no robbery or something. It's like something even you think you should not think. You see something you should not see. You say something you should not say, and you do something you should not do. That's all count as sin. So, I mean, that also helped us to explain the gospel with people. You know, sin doesn't mean you just go rob somebody or kill somebody. Like in the Bible, you think something that you should not think, that's sin to God. So, now, you might be able to guess the next one. Now, this is almost like a kayak, like a little vessel. Okay? Like two people sitting there paddling a vessel. Okay, and this mustache is 8. 8. And then there's a square down below. So 8 square means 8 people. On the vessel, this is a big ship. So can you think of a story?
The ark.
The ark. It's like 8 person on a vessel. It's a big boat. Okay, big ship. So now, do you still remember the lamb chop? How do I write that? The horn and the mouth. Right? That's the lamb, okay? And how about this? What is this? Can you see? Looks like a weapon. So what is that?
You killed the chicken.
No, leave the chicken alone. You're a big fan of Chick-fil-A, man. This is, yeah, me. Okay, me. Now, this is a combined, you two pictures together to create an idea, okay? Okay, ready? The lamb over me, this is a character righteous. Righteous is the lamb over me. So when God see us from above, see me from above, he didn't see me. He saw the lamb over me. That's righteous. So now, since you're learning this, I don't know, maybe several decades back, the Communist Party Chinese, they say because so many people can't read, so they simplify the characters. Okay, so today in simplified characters in mainland China, this word became that. I don't know how in the world they put this into that. So, but anyway, for a certain degree, they kind of take away the picture, that you can't really see the picture anymore. So, now you may want to learn this one. Okay, this is like revelation, like review. This is character. This is show forth. Okay, when these two characters are put together, this is God. So the way we understand God should be, God reveal himself and show forth himself to us. He didn't hide. You know, he wants us to know him. So this is the character of God. Okay, so in Chinese culture, the meaning it's very, you know, very much like the Bible, reveal us to God. So if you're interested, you can go home and search. Still in Beijing, you can go visit if sometimes. It's called Temple of Heaven. You can Google it, see the pictures. It's very, it built on a 3-layer platforms. And then the building is like 3 levels. Inside it's empty. So every year, the king and all these officials will go there and worship God. But there's no idols in it. You know, and then 3 layers. Can you think of something about 3 layers? Like in the Bible, tell us like the heaven, you go to the third, heaven. And very interesting, when you go Google it, look at the pictures, there are like two sets of runway, and then middle, it's also a path away, but it's like no steps. The king will run on the right side, and all these officials will on the left side. In the middle, nobody walks on it, because their idea is God is walking on that path in the middle. So the king on one side, the officials on the other side. And when you go inside that temple, there's no nails in it. It's almost like, they built the temple. There's no nails in it. It's all wood, and it's pretty neat. So back then, they had that concept. They worshiped the one. They didn't worship idols. So now, two more words I want to show you is okay, can you see the cross? And then there's a big what? A big man in the middle, right? And then there's two men on the side. I mean, what can you imagine? Crucifixion, right? The cross and two thieves on the side. Now, this is the character. It's not about the cross or something, but this is the character of come. It's almost like come to the cross. Come to the cross, and you see the big man is there. And there's another character, faith. It's interesting, faith in Chinese, it's like this. This is like Chinese characters, sometimes they have two sides, they combine together, left and right, or top to bottom. This is the character man, a person, okay? You see the legs there? And this is word, speech, word. This combined together is belief or faith, belief. So how do we believe? Because we heard people preach. That's how we get belief. We believe because somebody told us. So that's the concept of belief in Chinese. So, it's very interesting, sometimes it's hard to explain, faith or belief, but many times we believe by people preaching to us. We listen to the, people. So, so this is Chinese characters. So sometimes I can use this to walk through with people, show them about the gospel, sin and how God, saved and righteous and sin and who our God is. He wants us to learn about Him, know more about Him. So, yep. Okay. So how much time do I have?
You actually have till 15 after if you need it.
Okay. So now, you guys have any questions for me? Yes, ma'am.
What is your safety risk?
My safety risk? Yes. I have my wife. I don't worry about it. I was a cop in Hong Kong for 4.5 years. So safety risk in Hong Kong, I'm going to say more in the surface, because Hong Kong it's kind of different than the rest of China, because we call a special administration region, because for many years we were British colony. So all the law system and the thing, it's different than the rest of China. So there's another city similar to that, it's Macau, but they're much smaller. So in Hong Kong, we still run in a different system, sort of, but last few years, gradually, the central government has more involvement. But before that, we pretty much autonomy with our thing. For example, the law system, we're pretty much in a common law system, close to the states. So when I was a cop, now still do, but like we the persecutor has to prove that someone is guilty. But in China is they arrest you and then you have to prove yourself innocent. They can easily just arrest you for 2 weeks for no reason. They can say for investigation we just have to lock you up for 2 weeks. So you have to prove yourself innocent. So it's kind of a really different system. So, but in Hong Kong so far, we still have that religious freedom. As my wife mentioned, we both went to like Christian public school. So in Hong Kong, the public school could either run by the government, which is maybe 10% of it, but they subsidized by the government, but could run by different NGO. It could be Buddhist, it could be Catholic, it could be Christian. So many churches, bigger denominations, they run a lot of schools. Like Southern Baptists, they're pretty big. They from kindergarten to elderly center, youth center, and public school, they have a lot. So Christianity to many Hong Kong people, it's not a foreign thing. So, and many parents like to send their kids to Christian public school than Buddhist school because they somewhat feel like the teachers care more. So, yeah. I've gone too far. That wasn't your question. Okay.
But can the parents send them, but are they a different religion?
Yes, yes. It's a public school. So, well, some Christian school, I would say most of them didn't really do a very good job about Christianity or, because some teacher, they don't necessarily have to be Christian. So they will have a Bible class. So sometimes I think it hurts the real beliefs then because it became formality. People thought that they knew Christianity, but they don't. So, but they had the Bible class. That's all. So, but like in certain way, yeah, people welcome Christian school more, than a Buddhist school. All right.
So if we go back to the language for a minute, what is, if you go way back in history, who started the language? Apparently it has some Christian roots, or do you know anything about that?
I don't, but I think way back, some people do have, I think it's just like Romans 1, 21, 25 to 25. Everybody knew, back then they knew God, they knew about God, but they just gradually just turned away and became something else. So nowadays when we learn Chinese, they won't tell you these things. If you don't have a background, you just memorize, this is the characters, okay? Nobody, when we grew up, nobody taught us this, So I'm not sure you have ever seen, like in Chinese New Year, this is a doorway, okay? So in Chinese New Year, you will see Chinese people, you can go Google it, like they will put like a red paper on these three sides, above the door and then both sides. And they will write some, prosperity, different things. But I think the concept, it came from the Bible, the Passover, and read. And then also, God tell us, like, you have to put the words of God on your doorpost. When you go in and out, you remember it. See, that they kind of have that concept here. But like gradually, they turn into something else, okay? So I think it's interesting. For you guys, red is almost like blood all the time, But in our Chinese Bible, it used to be the way it packed, it's like black covers and also blood, like red on the side. So red for Chinese people, it's a good luck. It's something good. So blood is good. Because Jesus' blood, right? So I think way back we all have that concept, but man just driven away from it. Anything else about China, Chinese? Although I always fail my Chinese history, so.
Do you have an idea, percentage-wise, how many are true Christians in Hong Kong?
It's hard to say because it's hard to say true Christian, to have a poll about that, okay? So I would say, I'm going to talk about that a little more because I would somewhat feel like Hong Kong had a good bit, but last few years, a lot of them moved away. The last 4 or 5 years, a lot of them moved away. So because of something happened in 2019. So the Chinese government came down with a new law. It's called National Security Law. So they lock up a lot of legislative councillors in jail. So different overseas, different governments like Britain, UK and Canada and Australia, Taiwan, they helped the Hong Kong people fled. So many moved to those countries, especially the UK. So
are you going to talk about your work in Canada at all during the morning service?
Do you want me to?
Well, I was going to say, if you're not going to, tell them a little bit about that now.
Okay. So 2022, I finished some schooling here in the States, and then I was looking into, because it was still locked down back in Hong Kong and China. So I'm looking to a next, well, let me back it up a little bit, because I took a class about mission. The professor really get us thinking about to focus on praying for different people groups in 28 days. So somehow I look, and he was talking about people group. It wasn't about the land or country, So I found out, like one day I looked like, pray for the Chinese people in Paris. They have that many people, Chinese people in Paris, So that really got me thinking, okay, I'm serving not the land, but people group. So where can God use me? Even I'm in North America. So I do some research and found out Canada. Do you know how many Chinese people in Canada? Take a wild guess. 4.8 million. They have 4.8 million Chinese people in Canada. So they have really good Chinese food, I'm telling you. So I can approve. So that's why I start looking into Canada. So and then I found a city, because the major cities like Vancouver, Toronto, Calgary, they already have many Chinese churches there because they're very high Chinese population over there. In Vancouver and Toronto, you speak Chinese, you don't need to speak English. You can live your life there. So, and then I found a city, it's called Kelowna in British Columbia. So, now don't laugh, but it's true. Why I choose that city? They don't have huge amount of people, Chinese people, but they do have. And I Google, where in Canada it's not so cold? And Kelowna was the place. So I started to go up and do more research, and I went up there with my wife to see it. And then somehow I get to know a family moved from Hong Kong. And at that time, some Hong Kong families moving there. So they have a few thousand Chinese people there. So we decided, and then they have 2 colleges over there. So we decided to move there to start a Chinese church. So I thought I'm gonna take 6 months to learn about the city, know people, but then there's some people, some Christian people knew that I'm a pastor, so but they all speak Mandarin. My mother tongue is Cantonese. I speak Mandarin also. So they found me and they talked to me. They really want me to start a Mandarin speaking church. So I was there. We went there the end of October. and then we start a Bible study at my home in December. So now, I speak Mandarin, but I compare myself. It's like when you go to a town, you really want Chinese food, but there are no authentic Chinese food. Where you gotta go? You go to Panda Express. So I was the Panda Express. So anyway, and I talked to the English church that we've been attending to, and see they can rent us a place for us to start our Chinese service. So and they're very nice, and we've been attending there. And then they also had a German congregation, so they have a chapel on the side. So I asked the pastor, can I use the chapel during you guys have the English service? And then it works out good because some family, their kids speak English anyway. So the children will join them to their English Sunday school, and we have the English service and Chinese service together. And we also have some couples that are mixed marriage. So the husband could go to the English and the lady can come to our Chinese. So February, by the time February, we started our first service. So after 2.5 years, we grew, and then I think God called me to do something else because I like to work more with young people and camps and stuff, but that city, mostly the Chinese people are 50s and above because of the weather. A lot of them is like second migration. They moved to Canada to some colder countryside first, and then they want to move again to a warmer place. So many of them were that age. So and then we found a pastor. He just graduated from seminary in Vancouver. So now he took over the church, and I'm gonna speak at that church again next month. They invite me to go back and speak. So March I'll go up there for a week to visit them. So yeah. So well, see, one of the reasons is because I was want to use my language skills. So I think it's very important for me because in Hong Kong, when we had a church, I pastored a church, we also a bilingual church. So I preach one sentence in Cantonese and then one sentence in English. I just translate myself. So and amazingly, when I went to Canada, I didn't thought I'm gonna start a Mandarin church, but God just make that happen. So yeah, I feel sorry for those people. They have to eat Panda Express for 2 years, but. We had a good time. We learned a lot. My wife didn't speak Mandarin when we went to Canada, but after 2 years, she can able to manage to do Bible study with the ladies and stuff. So, yeah, I never thought God will polish my Mandarin in Canada. I speak more Mandarin in Canada than English, I think.
Good.
So.
All right, any final questions? We have about a minute left. Elliot?
What's the difference between Mandarin and Cantonese?
Mandarin and Cantonese, okay, they're dialects. Chinese, like those characters, we all understand the same characters, the sentence. When we read, we understand, everybody understand. But when we pronounce it, we have, I don't know how many dialects we have in China. Nobody can count because like sometimes across the street, they speak different dialects in China. Mandarin is the official dialect that the central government decided that everybody learn so we can communicate to each other. So in Chinese, Mandarin has 4 tones. Ma, 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 ma. They sound the same to you, right? But they're all different. It's like everything slightly changed the tone means something else. So if you say it wrong, you want to say mom, but you say horse. You can tell somebody, oh, your mom is a horse, something like that. But in Cantonese, it's even much older dialect. So we have 9 tones. So slightly changed, like halfway, it's something else. So that's the difference, I guess. So and not really only accent. It just intonation, yeah, inflection, it's very different. And sometimes, because it's a dialect, many words we say today in Cantonese, it's not quite written. So when we grow up, we speak in Cantonese, we also have to learn how to write in a written form. Not everything we say could be written. So we have to kind of learn Chinese the other way. But Mandarin people, whatever they say, they can write out. So.
Okay, we better stop there because we're out of time. Thank you, that's very interesting. And it's fascinating to see the history of that. All right, we're going to go ahead and be dismissed. We'll start again in about 13 minutes. Thank you.